Hey guys, Lawrence from Lawrence Creates, and today I'm going to show you how to install BOLT.DIY. Now this is a fairly new piece of AI tech that basically allows you to build AI applications basically from your computer. It does require you to have your own API keys. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can set up DeepSeek, which is a very cheap API. You will need balance to use this. However, I've topped this up like $5 and I've tested around with about, I think, 8 or 7 projects. And it's only used 10 cents, DeepSeek. Granted, the projects that I've asked it to do haven't been too complex, but still $5 is plenty. You could probably even get away with $2 if that's what you want to do. The next API I'm going to show you is the Anthropic Claude API. Now, the API I like using here is the new Haiku 3.5. It's actually quite decent at programming and very cheap. Once again, you will need funds on your account. So please make sure to have funds, otherwise it's not going to work. I've topped the Claude API up with $10. As I do like switching between the Claude APIs, and sometimes you do need a little bit of extra funds in these. But just to like get the ball rolling and start off, you can really just use DeepSeek and just put like $2 in if you really want. Um, so yeah, I'm going to show you how to set these two APIs up. And then to top it off, I'm going to show you guys how we can get the AI to set up a Supabase database. I've not seen anyone go through this with Bolt.DIY. Um, there is so many tutorials with Bolt.new, which is like a standalone application that you can use just right out of the web. It does have a free version, though it is limited. But the paid plans for it are pretty good. However, for this tutorial, we're going to be installing Bolt.DIY. Anyway, enough of my ranting. We're going to get into it. The first thing I just want to show you guys here is I've already set up a folder where I'm going to install Bolt, and I've also got this PowerShell script. And all that script does is it's going to run the installation commands that basically Bolt.DIY wants us to have. So before we do this, just make sure that you do have the latest version of Node.js installed on your computer. Make sure all the environmental variables are set up. Just basically the only thing you need to do that's on you is go through this first section to install Node.js. Okay, once you install Node.js here, basically all we're going to do is go to the top of the page here, go to the green code button, and we're just going to download the zip. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you here. So this is basically the contents of what is on the GitHub, right? So all I'm going to do is extract that into my folder of choice. And really easy step next is you just right click on the PowerShell file and run with PowerShell. This is going to go through everything, install the dependencies, basically install whatever is needed for Bolt. I've tried to make this as easy as possible. So we're going to just let this run. Like I said, the only thing you guys will need to do, which is on you, is install node.js. Every other command that is required, I've put into this PowerShell to try and make it as simple as possible. All right, so that was pretty fast. Depends on your internet speed, right? But once it's done, it'll give you a local host link. So we're just gonna highlight it and then right click, that'll copy the link. All right, and then we're just going to run it, and it's not booted up completely yet. It'll go through all these like LLM sort of loading state basically. So you just kind of want to wait for that. You can see here that we just have a chat box, nothing else. When you just see this, it's not completely loaded yet. There you go. So now it should be loaded. So if we just refresh this, there we go. So now we have our model selector. First thing we're going to do is set up DeepSeek. Really simple Bolt DIY with like all the models. Like it's not hard at all. I will leave all the links to the APIs and everywhere you need to navigate. But in DeepSeek, you just go to API keys and then we go create new API key. And I'm just going to call it Bolt. Don't worry, ignore the API key. Don't try to use it. I'm going to delete them. All right. And that's what we do. We give it the DeepSeek API key, and that's now all working. Now we're going to give it the Anthropic API key. Same process. We're going to go API keys, create. I'm just going to call it Bolt. Copy. Go back to Bolt. Press the little pencil icon to edit. Paste your key in, and we're all set up. How easy was that? Now, we're going to swap the Anthropic model to the new Claude 3.5 Haiku. This is a super cheap and intelligent model. I've run into very little issues, but I'm going to show you a couple of prompting tricks, okay? So the first thing when I use Supabase with Bolt.DIY is you always want to start off with that, right? Oh, sorry. Before we go on, there is some settings I want you guys to change. First, we're going to go to this gear icon. You just sort of hover your mouse on the left side. So you just hover it here and this box will pop up. Click on the gear icon. There is a couple things we want to enable. First, in the features, we want to enable experimental provider, and you want to change optimize prompt. And then you want to enable auto select code template. These two settings on, I found have been the most optimal for Bolt.DIY. When these are off, it does sort of do some weird stuff. So just enable those and we should be good to go. All right. So the way I prompt it to first create a Supabase is super easy. And all I say is create a project to connect us to a Supabase. And then all I say is make sure any private keys are in the .env file. The first prompt is always super easy. You just want to get straight to the point, asking it to create a Supabase project and to make sure any private keys are in the env file. Another thing you want to say is that we are just going to use the default account creation system for Supabase and no other OAuth providers. This will stop it from trying to implement things like Google to try and sign in with Google. If you want to go through down that rabbit hole, you can. I recommend just going straight for the just default integration with Supabase. It can lead you down a whole bunch of loops if you try and use all this other OAuth stuff and it ends up breaking. I've found just with Bolt.DIY, just basic implementation with Supabase, and it works fine. So we're just going to run that. We're going to use Anthropic Haiku, the newest one. And it will basically just pop up a project straight away. Like I said, it creates the template based on your description. And this is what I have found the easiest way to do this is. All right, so we're just gonna let it create all its code, and then I'll go through the Supabase side of things. Alrighty, I think it's done. Yeah, cool. So in the .env file, it should have now a Supabase to our secret key and a Supabase to our project URL. I'm going to show you now how to implement those. We're going to go new project once you've logged into Supabase. Choose your organization. I'm just going to call this test123. You choose whatever compute size you want. We don't need a lot for this, so I'm just going to go micro. And whatever password of choice. This is all going to be deleted, so I've just done very basic stuff. You can also choose your region, but it doesn't matter. Once we create a project, It's going to give us all these like keys. So first thing you want to do is copy your project URL. Another thing to note, if you lose this page, all you need to do is press the home button. Oh, actually, it won't go home yet because it's still setting up my project, but I'll show you that once it's done. But for now, just copy the project URL. We want to go back to Bolt, and where it says Supabase project URL, just paste that in. And then where it says the anon public, okay, here we go. So this is your default homepage, right? So whenever you go on your project and then click home, this is where it'll take you. All you need to do to get all your project details is down here. So you have your project key and then your API key. So this API key, that is the one that we want to paste down here. Okay, then we just save this. And with any luck, let's see. So this should all be implemented now. So we're just gonna have a quick look over everything, and it's gonna do nothing, right? It's not gonna do anything, but we have no errors, so Supabase should be implemented. So what we're gonna say now is, please create us a login/registration form to allow us to create users with Supabase. And just to make it a little better, I'm also going to say, please have a modern styling and make the theme, let's say black/yellow. Now, the very important, okay, BOLT.DIY has like this diff functionality where it's able to sort of edit and remove bits of code. Sorry, bolt.new, not .diy. The DIY version, however, doesn't. So it will rewrite all code that it's editing. So you want to make sure from here on that the end of your prompt will always end with, please provide me with full, complete, accurate code only. Do not truncate any of the code you provide. This one line here is very important. If you don't add something like this, your bolt.diy is going to start doing things like this. It'll be like rest of your code. And then it's going to start breaking all your code. So it's a bit annoying, and it does use more tokens, but this is basically the only way you're going to build a project with bolt.diy without it breaking every 2 prompts. Okay, so we're just going to pass that through. Hopefully it goes through and builds everything fairly easily. When it comes to the basic Supabase integration, I rarely run into any issues. Hopefully I've not just jinxed it. But let us see. So far so good. It's not giving us any like rest of your code here. None of that jazz. So let's see. Okay, so it seems like sometimes you will get this issue where Bolt doesn't run the npm commands required for the project. So when it doesn't do that, just go to Bolt terminal. The first command you want to run is npm install. Okay, just let it go through that. Once it's done that, run npm run dev. Sometimes you need to do this, sometimes you don't. It's really up to Bolt if it decides to do it for you. It's quite odd. But as you can see, we actually have a very nice looking form. If we click sign up, we have a very nice looking form for creating an account. So let's just try one of my emails here. You know what? I'll use this one. And let's just try a default password. So if we click sign in, invalid login credentials. Okay, so let's go sign up. Let's make a username. And I assume this is our password. Let's press sign up. It says processing and check your email for a verification link. So just to make sure, let's go into our database. Sorry, wrong one. Let's go into authenticate. Let's go into users, and you can see this is the email I just used, and last sign in at waiting for verification. So if we go back to sign in, try and sign in, email not confirmed. All right, so let me just go to my email here. I will do this on another screen. Just note that by default, let me just double check. Okay. So just press this to confirm. Now I'm doing this on my other screen just for, privacy reasons, but I have confirmed the email. If we press sign in, there we go. We are now successfully signed into our Supabase database. How cool is that? So basically, a thing to note with Supabase is if you go into your authentication and providers, when you have email here, basically by default, you won't have any of the what you call it. You won't have any SMTP set up for it. So if you guys want me to show you how to use Resender to set up your emails and customize your email templates and stuff like that, just let me know in the description. You can see that we need to view our SMTP settings, and we'll be able to change it down here. Right now we're using just Superbase's default one, but it is rate limited. So you can't just spam this and you can't use this for production, okay? So we do need to add our own custom email server. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. As of right now, or even for testing, this is what you can do for something for testing, right? If you go into your database, authentication, go to your policies, getting muddled up. Go to your providers and then click on email, and you can just turn off confirmation email, right? So now over here, let's just sign out. So let's maybe use another email and different password. If we go sign in, it says invalid login credentials. Let's go sign up with a different account here. We'll go sign up. It says check your email for verification, but we shouldn't need it. And there it is. It just logs us in straight away. So for testing purposes, you can just disable the confirmation email to make sure your application runs. And then once you're up to it, you can add all your emails later, But as of right now, this is working pretty good. There's really no issues to this. We could prompt something else just so I can show you how to add into the tables here. So I've not thought about it this far, so this could all break now. But like we did before, I'm going to copy this line. This one here, the one that says, please provide me with full code, complete accurate only, do not truncate any other code. I wish BOLT.DIY had a suffix for the prompt where you can just basically paste this in and you don't ever have to add it. But I've not figured out if it does yet. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is say create an area for our user on the profile page to make personal notes or tasks. And we're just gonna add that please provide me with full, complete, accurate code only. Do not truncate any of the code you provide. And I'm just gonna sign out. When you do change your application, it's always best to sign out. I've had issues where like session tokens get weird and mixed up, and then you have to like refresh your browser cookies and things break. So whenever you do a new prompt and you're logged in, I would always recommend you to sign out. That just provides the least risk of anything breaking or being odd. So here we go. I'll create a comprehensive notes task component integrated with Supabase for persistent storage. All right. Another thing I've noticed, which is a bit odd, I don't know if it's a me only thing, but when I scroll down, if it's working on a script, it'll always bounce me back up to the top of the script. So if I hold left click and drag the scroll bar down, you can see that it kind of breaks a lot. So I don't know if that's just a me thing. Um, but yeah, other than that, it works great. So once it's done, it should provide you with the code you need to give to Supabase, right? So I'm going to copy this. We're going to go to Supabase, and you want to go to the SQL editor. You paste the code that should have been provided by Bolt. You click run, and if there's no issues, it'll say success, no rows returned. If you go to table editor, you'll see a new field called user notes. So if we go to Bolt now, go to preview, and let's sign in with our account. How cool is that? We've now got personal notes and tasks. If we add a note, note title, BOLT.DIY is amazing. Note description, if used correctly, this is a game changer. Save note. That's pretty cool. It's even given us a delete, edit, and a check mark. So we'll see if any of those work. But first, we're just going to refresh the page and user notes to see if our data is here. Our data is there along with our user ID. So that is fantastic. So let's see what happens. Okay, we can edit it. Edit one. Save. Okay, that's cool. Let's just go to our database, make sure that it has edited it. And it has. There it is. Let's go and press this. Okay, so now it's completed that task. It's now made it green. I don't know if there's a setting here. Okay, is complete. So there is. So let's refresh. Is complete is true. How cool is that? So let's just refresh this page. Cool. I mean, it looks like it's all working. The only thing to note is there's no sign out button. So let's just real quick ask it to provide that. Please, we'll just say, please add a sign out button above the add new note button. And then after that, like always, please provide me with full, complete, accurate code only. Do not truncate any of the code you provide. We'll pass that in. I'll modify the notes and task component. Just, I do want to make note that even though you add this here, sometimes it will truncate and sort of cut out some code. So you do need to make sure there's no comments in your code after it generates that says like // rest of your code here. If you continue onto your project without realizing that that is in your code, it gets remembered and you will never fix it. You basically brick your project if you mislook anything like that or overlook anything like that, sorry. So please just double check because I've run through this issue where it just doesn't make the changes and I don't know why. And for some reason, it's because that line of code that says rest of your code here is just in the memory now. And even if I restart bolt.diy, it just doesn't fix it. So please just make sure that that's all working. All right, so, oh, has it reset? No, it hasn't. Okay. So for some reason, it's telling us to run these commands again. So we're just going to do what it says, even though I think things are already running, but I'm pretty sure it's already running. Yeah, it is. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. Okay, so now we have a sign out button. Nice. And let's sign into our other account. Okay. All right, add note, test 1, 2, 3, save, press a check mark. Cool. Let's see okay, so you can actually uncomplete a note by pressing that check mark again. So that's pretty cool. I mean, in how long has it been? 25 minutes? In 25 minutes, I've shown you guys how to set up bolt.diy, connect it to our database, on top of giving it all these API keys, and in that time, we've made a persistent note-taking app that has I would say, a pretty decent theme to it. Okay, so I mean, just to test, we're gonna do one more prompt. So let's copy this once again. We're gonna say, I want you to retheme the entire website, make it look like an Instagram feed. Let's just random something random like that, you know? Let's just see if it can do that. This could just break the entire thing and that'll be the end of the video. So just remember, whenever you type anything to it, always add, please provide me with full, complete, accurate code only. Do not truncate any of the code you provide. Okay? This is just super important. You just, doesn't matter if it's a simple thing you want to change. Because Bolt.DIY doesn't have diffs like Bolt.new does, it rewrites the entire code and it doesn't provide you with all the code sometimes. So please, if you want to have the most success with Bolt.DIY, always add that. I will also provide this little bit of text in the description if you guys really want it. But yeah, it's just like you just have to do it. You can't not do it with Bolt.DIY. Again, it's telling me to run these commands, but I'm pretty sure it's already done it. Oh, how good is that? They've called it Notogram. Fantastic. All right, let's log in. Let's just see what a sign up page looks like. Sign up page looks good. Sign in. Oh, how good is that? Actually, it's actually done a pretty good job. It's it's given us a like and comment thing, but like whatever, man. You know, it's pretty cool. Let's just see if the functionality still works. We'll just say test 1, 2, 3, post. And I mean, we've lost the functionality to complete the post now, but I mean, we basically did a whole retheme of the website and it hasn't broken it for us. It's broken some features for us, and you know, we can always go back here and see what's happened. It's probably because we asked it to redesign the entire thing. There is probably full complete code here, but it just hasn't added any of the functions. We could fix it. Let's one more go, right? One more. This is just too fun. One more go. We'll just say, remove the user profile icon and just make it purple. Instead of the like/comments, add the completed task and edit task buttons. And then once again, after that, please provide me with full, complete, accurate code only. Do not truncate any of the code you provide. Let's just see if it does it. I mean, you know, what's the worst that can happen? It breaks. Alrighty. I'll modify the notes task component to remove the user. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is log out. Please log out when you do this stuff. It's just, you don't need to, and it'll probably work 90% of the time, but then you'll hit that one update that for whatever reason it decides to change like cookie names, and that's the one time it'll break everything for you. Trust me, I've had it before, even with Bolt.new, where it's renamed cookies, and the cache for the website just keeps, like, I get all these errors, and it's not even because the code is broken, it's just because the cookie name in my browser and that of what the site expects is different. All right, let's preview. Cool. So let's press complete. It's marked. So it's not marked as completed anymore. Complete. Edit. Whatever. Save changes. Let's just refresh this. Changes are persistent. Let's mark as complete. Refresh. Changes are persistent. How cool is that? You know, as long as you know how to prompt this, And as long as, like I said, you add this bit of text down here, please provide me the full, complete, accurate code only. Do not truncate any of the code you provide. Bolt.DIY is actually very good. It does very well. Um, the only downside to it is Bolt.new uses, I'm pretty sure it uses Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is why Bolt.new just creates really nice code. But if you do want to use Sonnet, just note that it is far more expensive than any of the other APIs. That's why I've gone with 3.5 Haiku, the newer version, because it still does a fantastic job with code. I mean, you saw it, it set up our database in basically one prompt. You know, the only thing we had to do was ask it to create a front end after it's implemented the database. So I am going to leave everything that you guys need in the video description. If you guys like this video and it helped you out, please leave a like and comment below if you guys want to have a tutorial where I show you guys how we can set up our email system for Supabase. And we will either continue on with this project since, I mean, it's working, right? So why not just continue on with it? And I'll show you guys how we can implement our email verification, or we can just start a brand new project. Again, let me know in the comments if you want to see either. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Please have fun with Bolt.DIY. It is a powerful and amazing tool. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye now.